Hi, and welcome. Today I'm joined by Michal Pasierbski, and I hope that I pronounced your name correctly.
Perfect.
Michal, welcome. Just to give you a brief introduction of how I met you, actually, we met online. In the end, it seems that social media is useful to something. And I discovered the profile on Twitter when you published the Watch Me Struggle building an ML model with zero experience. It's 5 hour video on YouTube, and I found it super interesting because very few have the courage to do that. And on the other side, I think it's also useful for someone someone with a classical computer science background, like traditional developer, let's say, to us something like that, because you are actually learning as you speak, and I found it very interesting.
Yeah, so the fun part is that, first of all, I don't have traditional computer science.
You don't have? Okay.
No, I did bounce around quite a bit. I did some, I don't know if that's actually the word in English, like it's zoology. It's
okay. Yeah.
about the animals and stuff. I did like 3 years of archaeology.
Oh,
and
okay.
then I did what, like, I think year and a half of like this private school, let's say it's towards CS degree, but it's not like in a traditional like university. And then I dumped that. I quit each and every the zoology, the archaeology, and the CS, and then just managed to find a job in the process, and that's how I started with IT.
If it helps with something, also I consider my CS degree completely useless. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff during high school, but the actual university was fully wasted time.
That's how I explained the decision to my parents as well, because they were paying for this stuff. So I told them that, listen, I'm gonna learn much more on the job and stuff. And but it's a funny story. It was like when I tried to do the job hunting, obviously, like it was some years ago, right? It was like 15 plus years ago. Back then, the degree was a bit of a pass to interviews. So I struggled a bit. I remember like I locked myself like for 1 month in apartment and pretty much like almost like memorized this huge thinking in Java
I think
book.
I know it. I think I know it. Yeah.
Oh, it's a Java Bible, right?
Yeah,
It's like multiple editions.
Yeah,
like it's very well known. And somehow I managed to land an interview. And when they asked me the Java questions, I was like, but that was fun.
By the way, I also started exactly with Java. Like, Pascal during high school, whatever. But Java was the first serious programming language.
And for the stream about like building a machine learning model, I completely agree with you. Like, especially in social media, you have so many success stories, and so little. Like, it almost seems like those stuff comes to people like effortlessly. Like it's just like so easy, and it's not. Like we spent hours of debugging stuff, learning stuff, and just at the very end there is this like cherry on top. So I think it's very useful to see people struggling, even with simple stuff.
I'm the same. I so understand you because I feel the same in entrepreneurship. Like you see, I've sent an email to my newsletter fan base. I had 100 people and made 1 million in sales. Doesn't work like that. And I followed for so much, and I'm still following, and I'm still searching for people that are making, I don't know, 1,000 USD per month online. I mean, let's start from there and really feel those struggles and so on, and you feel much more normalized.
I think like getting from like 0 to 1,000 is much more difficult journey than from 1,000 to 10,000. Like, to be honest, I don't have like much experience in any of those. I think, but it seems like the startup is a tricky thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same for. I mean, my feeling it's exactly the same. And also circling back to your feed, exactly. I think you pointed exactly. This is fantastic to see more like realistic videos. Like, this is what I am doing. I may be wrong. I may be, but I think you are much more approachable. Much more. You feel much more human.
I think there is like it's funny to look at it, because like there was a period of time where there was this image of like software engineer or like technical guy that was like this douchebag, this like the likes of Linus Torvalds. Exactly, he was like super smart, builds Git in 5 days, but at the same time he's like not very good with people. And then at some point there was a switch, like you got like people like like Dan Abramov from Preact, like he's very humble, very like respectful. And at some point I think we got like into this bit of turbulence of social media, and now we are like, I think we getting back to this like sincere people again. Like you have likes of, I don't know, Aaron Francis, like in Laravel and PHP community is like super approachable. I love the quote of like, you can just do things. It's like correct. I love it.
I feel the same. I mean, while you're speaking, the main examples that are popping up into my mind are Andrew Karpathy and Simon Willison, the creator of Django, and they are so nice people. I mean, and it's so easy to and I don't know, you follow them for sometimes also just for their personality and how nice they are. So totally agree. Totally.
Like it's like completely opposites, right? You have those people, like I feel like they are not so appealing to the masses, because like people do like strong opinions and like confidence, but it's not the reality of learning. Like if you are smart, if you know a lot, you also know that you don't know exactly even more, right? So then you have this like like doubts, and in social media doubts don't really sell well.
Exactly.
But I agree, like with Karpathy, he's a prime example that like super knowledgeable guy, and then still like qualifies everything he says. Like he might be wrong and stuff.
I've seen indeed in the, especially after Donald Trump being elected and so on, I've seen again like this like very macho tendency rising. Also in tech, like Zuckerberg gets ripped and jacked. Whatever. I hope at one point we will go back to like more balanced, normal people. I mean, because this is one of the reasons why I love tech. I think there are so nice people in this industry, and so kind people, and people that are actually trying to do the world a better place. So I hope this trend continues.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a bit about your journey. So you started from memorizing a book of Java, and currently you are a software developer in Google Zurich. How did you went all the way? It's a huge journey what you did there.
Yeah, I think that this mantra that is now popularized by Aaron, like you can just do things. Mm-hmm. I think it applies. Right. Obviously, there was at some point there was a shift that the CS degree was no longer required to even apply, because if I remember correctly, there was a time that you have to had a CS degree, but that got dropped. So obviously, it helps people like me. But how it got to this point, I think like one thing is curiosity, right? You just need to be curious, and then don't give up and follow the white rabbit. Sometimes you end up in the rabbit hole, but you tend to learn a lot during the process. Some of it is out of competitiveness. Mm-hmm. So, I have some friends that, made it far, and obviously I don't want to lose. Like you can see a lot of basketballs, here the skateboard. It's all like just the competitive nature. So I'm always try to,
As a side note, speaking of this, while I was doing the research for this podcast, I noticed that there is someone else with your same family name who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. I will send you, so you don't have any relative or something like that. I will send you the link because he also looks a bit like you. So I was like, come on, it's not possible also for him to be a software developer at Google, co-founder for a startup, and also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion.
No way.
I'll send you the link at the end.
Very curious. Maybe I have long lost brother that is super successful.
I will send you. It's really funny. Beside your 9-to-5 job at Google, you are also a co-founder for Notamify.com.
Yeah.
And basically, how you describe you describe the startup on the website, a powerful Notam decoder. What are Notam documents?
Yeah.
Just to give a context.
So Notam stands for Notice to Airmen, and this is like one of the crucial parts of like the aviation industry, right? So you can imagine that when you want to fly, there is a lot of happening, on the airspace, maybe like something happened on the airport that you want to land on. Maybe something is happening on the airport you are starting from. So all of this information is captured in those so-called Notams, right? And these are like, sometimes they're like a bit cryptic because that's, I find it quite funny because like they are written in this kind of almost like a code, right? So you don't write runway, you write RWY, like 3 letters.
Yeah, okay.
And there are plenty of those shortcuts. So like if layman looks at it, it means absolutely nothing. It's just like some gibberish.
Okay.
And if you have like I think by law, pilots are obliged to go through the Notams for the path they are like going through.
I see.
And for the long flights, it can be a lot. It can be like, I think I heard like for long flights, it can be up to 40 pages of those Notams that pilot needs to, scan through. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, to find what's essential and
Exactly. You need to figure out what is important and what is not, right? Because like some of them Notams may be that they're cutting grass at the airport. Yeah, it's not very crucial.
Yeah, exactly.
So what we do is take those Notams, pass them through AI and categorize them. Try to, like, first of all, we translate them to human language. We categorize them. We try to figure out what is important for you and not. And we give you like, if you want, we give pilots like briefing, like just a summary of what's happening in that area. And the goal is to, first of all, cut time, because time is money. Like, the more time you spend on the ground at the airport, like the more you pay. And we want to reduce human error, right? Because it's easy to like, miss.
Exactly. In a 40 pages document. Yeah, correct.
And in the industry, there are just like whole teams, like people whose only job is to go through those Notams. And with the current state of AI, I think it's something that could help those people.
Okay, nice. You mentioned exactly like when I first heard about the idea of the project of Notify me.
Notamify. It's like Notamify. Notamify.
Yeah, sorry. When I first heard about this, I thought that something like an LLM will be fantastic for summarizing, for so on. By the way, do you use your own proprietary model, or do you use like a general LLM?
So this 5-hour stream to build ML model from scratch with no experience that was like kind of discovery phase for our all proprietary solutions to Notams, because like LLMs are fantastic for like generic, general purpose tasks, and they are doing a relatively good job with NOTAMs, but we can do better. So right now we use off-the-shelf LLM models, but the goal is to do our own.
And speaking of this, did you notice some I don't know, types of tasks that LLM did very well? On the other side, did you notice something that was super hard to do? I mean, where did LLM worked and where did they didn't work so well?
So if we break down what Notamify does, right? So first part is it's like translating the Notam to human language, and this no issues.
Like
LLMs
expanding the acronyms to full words or something.
Absolutely. Okay. No issues whatsoever. They understand the context. Like it's very easy for LLMs to understand the content. What surprised me is that categorization is somewhat tricky, right? Really? So yes, then that was a surprise.
Would you expect that categorization? Right? It's exactly.
And it's not a free form like categories. We do support list of predefined categories with subcategories, and LLMs are mostly right, but sometimes there are some weird bugs with that. That's why I think like going with like traditional ML model is just better, right? Because like that's.
How about summarization? I mean, extracting the essential. How that
easy? That's really? Something that that's something that LLMs tend to do very well in context of NOTAMs. Yeah.
Fantastic. Super interesting. Oh, okay. Nice.
But that's it's a good point and good thing to remember that there is no one tool fits all solution, right? It's like the LLMs do tend to work good in certain scenarios, but we shouldn't like I think I saw this video from the I'm trying to remember, that's the product that turns Figma designs into web pages, Builder.io. I think it's Builder.io.
Yeah.
And the guy goes through the process how they end up at the product, and they also try to like go everything with LLMs, and it didn't work well. So the thought process was like actually reversed. So let's try to do as much possible as possible with
code.
Exactly. And then if we can't, let's go with LLMs. And I think that's the approach that tends to work the best.
Exactly. I think in general the LLMs are fantastic to output a very fast proof of concept, but after that, given their unpredictable nature, let's say, try to code in a traditional way as much as possible and just use LLMs. And by the way, speaking of LLMs, I think like initially all of these models were trained more or less on the same data, and they were having almost the same thing at the end. Right now, I think also there is room for experimentations, because I think the data that it's used for OpenAI is not used anymore for Claude or for Mistral, and maybe some LLMs are, I don't know, it's like having different personalities, and each individual is good at something, and I think this will also happen to LLMs.
Yeah, it's the future is very curious, right? Because like on one hand you're right, like the amount of data, let's put it other way, the amount of human authored data is not growing that fast, and on the other side you have the content that is written by AI. So now you're like in this weird loop, right? And then you also have those distilled models that are learning from other LLMs. It's
getting strange.
It is strange, and I'm worried that we're hitting the plateau with like how much better they can get, because like garbage in, garbage out. It's I think we're getting more garbage.
It's just a supposition, but and I mean, don't take it as. But I was looking, for example, at my iPhone. right now my iPhone, it's, I don't know, this one, it's a iPhone 11 or something like that. More or less is the same as an iPhone 4. I mean, okay, the screen is bigger, but it kind of does the same thing. And indeed, smartphones changed the world, but the evolution was like, and maybe with LLMs, things will be the same. Maybe, we don't know, but
hard to predict. True.
Yeah, with planes is the same. I understood that we have almost the same planes as in the 50s right now, like the ones that are Boeing and yeah.
Although we have now the supersonic plane, I don't know, like there's like also the funny story I told you about the you can just do things, and there is this guy, I think he was like manager at Groupon and started this supersonic planes, and he actually nailed it, right? I think this year he managed. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're right. In general, you're right. Yeah, we had supersonic planes back in the.
So previously you have worked at Amazon, and currently you are working at Google as a software engineer. If you'd have to, I don't know, give advice for someone who's interested to enter this world of FANG, big tech, what should they study? What should they focus on? I'm asking for a friend, let's say.
Listen, there is no, it's no secret that FANG interviews are algorithmic, like heavy algorithmic interviews. So it's you need to go there. But I for myself, I found a bit of a, I don't want a cheat code, but it's like it's more of a way to study for those interviews to get good results. So by good results, so I told you I don't have like a proper education, and my track record was, I think I applied 4 times to FANGs.
Okay.
And I failed only the first one.
Okay.
And then I applied twice to Amazon. I got offers both times, but my wife vetoed the move to Dublin. So
okay.
Which was a good move. I actually think it was fine. So there is only like couple of categories of algorithmic interviews. Oh, algorithmic questions. Like you have trees, you have like heap problems, you have
string
like
manipulations.
String manipulations. You have some like recursive problems, graph problems. Like there is like finite number of those. Like, and it's like less than 10. So that's one part. The other part is that you will not figure out the solution on the spot if you don't know it straight away.
I see.
It's like, I don't know, maybe there are some smart people. I'm not that smart. If I don't know the solution off the top of my head, I don't think I'm gonna figure it out. Especially in like you have like 30 minutes, right?
I see.
Like because there's like some reading.
How many problems do you get? It's one single problem in 30 minutes? Or it depends.
So usually, you start with one, but most likely there is some follow-up. And the follow-up to the same problem can lead to different solution. Like, so you can, for example, you can start with, I don't know, like with a simple array manipulation and end with a graph solution, right? So, but it's one problem. Sometimes it's
it's pretty 30 minutes. It's quite intense. I mean, if it's
So the goal, just to give you to spill the secret. The goal is to just to know what kind of problem you're dealing with. It's enough to understand that this problem is solved by graph, or this problem is just array. And to do that, it's just volume. You go to lead code. First, obviously, you solve the problems to learn how to solve them, and then you don't solve them. You just read the problem, spend like maybe 10 minutes max trying to figure out in your head what problem is it, check the solution and move on. And in that way, like you can do like in 2-hour session, you can do, I don't know, like 30, 50.
Interesting.
And then you just build the muscle memory. What kind of problem is that? And then it's easy.
It's very different because I tried to start to prepare for interviews like this. And a good point. Thank you very much for the tip. Really useful. My plan was always to struggle as much as possible until I break the solution. And it took me, just to give you an idea, sometimes I was thinking about a problem even 2 hours. I said that, okay, if in 2 hours I'm not ready, then I'm done. I will try something else. But yeah, okay. Thank you very much for the tip.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You need to know how to code that stuff.
Of course.
But I don't think like it's not good time investment to like solve every problem. I think it's just better time investment to build the muscle to figure out what solution to use, what kind of data structure.
I see. Okay, very interesting. Super. Thank you very much for the tip, and also the listeners. I think they will be very happy to hear this tip. And speaking of Google, in your experience, of course, each individual will have different experience. But from your experience, what makes Google such a unique place to work at? Because I would say that even through all of the other firms, I think Google is still special. It's still yeah. So, did you feel something was different that other companies?
I agree. There are some special things to Google, like taking aside the obvious things, which is like working with scale, with just like millions of users daily with your product, not that like the whole suite of Google, but in your stuff. Even like the internal tooling it has pretty high QPS. But one thing that stood out for me is people, right? Like there is this culture that was developed through years, like stuff like how they call it. I forgot, but the idea is like when something happens, you don't point finger, you don't put blame on someone, you just try to figure out what happened, and so there is this culture of that you don't need to be afraid to look stupid.
Very team-oriented seems like very.
Absolutely. There was this big study of like high-performing teams at Google, and it turns out the highest performing teams are not the stacked teams in terms of the talent. It's the teams that are not afraid of asking stupid questions or proposing stupid solutions. Right, because at the end you have like the chain of like army of people that will validate your solution, right? That's also the other thing, like the document culture, right? Some people hate the tons of documentation that you need to write up front. Like for example, like before you start implementing some solution, you need to write technical design doc. Someone needs to approve it. If it touches the other team, someone from the other team needs to approve it. So there is like a lot of back and forth before you start coding. So that's as daunting as it can be. I think it's a great benefit because like it makes you think before actually putting your hands on the keyboard.
I see. Wow, very very interesting.
So people for sure, like you, and obviously like there is this big emphasis on learning new stuff. Like so you're always encouraged to learn new things. Exactly, like it's there are like a lot of possibilities to like join other teams in some limited capacity, like like 20% of your time you can do something else
to find your place.
Exactly, like and even like movement inside the company. It's also like not only not frowned upon, it's actually like encouraged. Like if you want to grow in different area, then go ahead. Right?
Fantastic, very interesting. And somehow related to this, what's your I don't know perspective on how engineers in Google are perceiving AI and LLMs in general? Asking because I know some engineers that they are very against. Like, okay, LLMs are just autocomplete on steroids, and including I know people that are very opinionated about avoiding anything that's AI related. And how do you feel? What did you notice inside Google?
So first of all, let me preface that I don't want to get into troubles. So this
No,
is
no, no, no,
my
no.
opinions. I'm
Exactly,
not
exactly.
talking for
It's
the
just
company. This
yeah,
is
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
me.
Exactly, exactly.
I I found more skepticism on the engineering side than actually excitement,
Okay, very interesting.
which is crazy for me. I think there is a human aspect in that, right? If you learn, if you like this, if you dedicate so much time and effort to your craft, and then this
Yeah,
LLM
exactly.
that can do a lot of this stuff,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe there is some mental
yeah.
block. But
Correct.
I think I put it on X that I had a couple of weeks ago. I had discussion during one of the team lunches with the senior engineer, and he said exactly what you said. I avoid AI things.
Exactly. Anything like yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Like
exactly, exactly.
it's
I mean, indeed, you don't have to trust it blindly, not even by far. On the other side, it's good. Try, use it. At least try it.
I think it's like, it's a recipe to stay behind. Like I really believe in this saying that it's not the AI that will replace your job, it's the people who know how to use
Yeah,
AI.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And and to be fair, like in even at Google, like this is changing quite rapidly lately. I'm sure you heard that Google is making big moves lately in AI space with
Yeah,
the
Gemini, it's incredible. I mean, what's
yeah,
happening?
right.
And
The Flash, the thinking Flash.
I
It's
think you also posted at one point speaking about X that you believe that Google will win the AI race. I'm the same. I mean I'm not. Or yeah, I am kind of a fan of Google. But yeah, if I have to bet out of even if Microsoft and OpenAI they are up front, I think there are some very serious chances of Google winning this.
you just like take into account like that it all started at Google. Like all the transformer
Yeah.
architecture, it was developed at Google.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think at some point Google became this huge ship that just like
Yeah.
turned slowly,
Yeah.
and there was a space for OpenAI
Yeah.
to step in and
Yeah. Exactly.
evolve. And there were like those little fuck ups that Google had, like with
Yeah.
I think there was this experiment with search, like summary that didn't go well. There was some pictures of black presidents. If Google makes such a mistake, it's a big
Yeah.
thing. So they tend to move slow. But
Yeah.
I think it's we're getting to the point that
Correct.
that the
I feel
company speed up.
I feel that I don't know. Maybe Google on this field on the AI part is some sort like Xerox was back in the days when they invented the mouse and the window and all of those UI features. And after that, but exactly like opposite to Xerox, I think Google still has a lot of potential to catch up and actually you guys are doing a fantastic job. So yeah, I actually bought some Google shares with the recent stock crash. I was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
So
but also like Google has like huge advantage. One is that they know the technology right behind it. They know how to build those models, and two, they have hardware. We have chips.
Yeah.
And that's a big one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big one. Like I don't know the details how Gemini works, but I highly suspect that it's so cheap because it runs on tensor units that are just made for that, right? It's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Switching gears a bit, you are doing a lot. You are a part-time entrepreneur. You have a 9 to 5 job and a job at Google, so not a random job. You are also a father. You have a life. How are you able to do all of this? Did you notice some patterns of what works in organizing all of this activity when what doesn't work so well?
I think I'm not sure if I'm doing that much, to be honest. I think it's like too many things at the same time, but yeah, being father definitely doesn't help with time management or like that.
And
The
again,
unpredictable factor.
I'm asking for a friend because I'm exactly the same. Please.
No, my son is now 8, and you never know what's behind the corner. Like yesterday, I had some time slots to work, and I ended up inline skating for like hour and a half because
that's the way to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the time management, yeah, it's tricky. It's raining, and I'm not gonna lie. Like I went through 2 so far burnouts.
Okay. So yeah, I'm the same. So you are normal.
Yeah,
I'm still
absolutely.
okay.
I think we all
Listen.
normal. Like if someone does so many things and then there is no issues, like we are not made for that. It's
I think that it's directly related to what we spoken at the beginning of the recording. That for someone, like on social media, things look so normal, so easy, but when you actually try to, I don't know, half of the time I feel that I'm the breaking point. Like I cannot take yeah.
You know what's the worst is that for me, I never know that I'm burning out.
Yeah.
Oh, I know only after it happens, right? And I don't know, like I had like my most recent I don't know burnout incident. I think I didn't work for 3 months. Like for 3 months, I was
You're
off,
like out.
yeah, absolutely, off the work and just like pretty much doing nothing. I was going to
Playing with
library.
toys, like playing with
Yeah,
soldier toys. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know. Yeah. So yeah, it's very, I don't know, comforting to hear that people are people in the end. Nice.
Yeah. It's also like there is this grind culture, right? You just like you should like lock yourself in and just grind for 3 months until you reach 10K a month on your side project. Sorry, that doesn't work like that.
I'm exactly the same. For many years, I've been in this path of like achieving financial independence and BS like that. But I realized that you are putting yourself in a very strange situation. First of all, okay, let's say that this happens and you achieve financial independence at 40. What would I think in order to be happy, you also have to work. So I think work is part of the, I don't know, happiness salad. This is one thing. On the other side, I think you are putting yourself in a very, I don't know, strange situation. You will be very afraid for all of the cash that you piled up because, like, not knowing that I don't want to work for the next rest of my life actually. And finally, I was thinking about Warren Buffett, and I don't know, I'm not envying Warren Buffett for his money, but on the other side, I am envying him for the fact that he's like 90 something years old and he's very active from a social point of view. He is someone, he is relevant, he does stuff, and I think that's life. Yeah.
Like, come on, let's face it. Like, you cannot grind or like work your ass off and at some point just stop. Like, it's we're a creature of habits, right? It doesn't work like that,
Exactly.
But I would love to work less. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the whole deal. Yeah. To find that sweet spot that you can, if asked, would you do this for the rest of your life? The answer to be yes. That maybe can be 8 hours per day. I don't know, maybe, or 4 hours per day, or 3 hours, or 6. Fantastic. As a developer, as a, I don't know, a tech worker, let's say, where are you putting your learning chips as we speak? What are you currently interested in? Where would you invest the most?
I don't think there is right now. There is other option than going somewhere around AI. Right? So like I really, you said you are a web developer. I think that I am also a web developer. I also spend like most of the time my career in that space. It's very repetitive. There is like a lot of stuff out there. Like with the current progress of LLMs, most of the stuff it's not gonna take so much time as it takes right now. So I think my thinking is that I need to shift more toward the application of AI, and what that means I'm not sure yet, to be honest.
You're
But
experimenting.
yeah, but I think yeah, I need to go more into either ML ops, or that area.
I see. Okay.
Building models, training models, it's at least be somewhat usable in that space.
Okay. And uh, from this point of view, for example, if you have to make a bet, where would you bet that the next big thing will be? And if you want, I can for sure my opinion just to give
Sure.
it. But I think in the next, I don't know, 1-2 years, we will have many local models, small local models, and most likely each application will have its own LLM layer, like a database layer, like almost, and these layers will be also used for UI because you can ask directly in words to tell, make me an average of that or something like that, and also to communicate with other LLMs. This can be, and a second one, I think JavaScript tooling for LLMs will go exponential up, because right now everything is in and maybe also Java per se, but right now everything is Python related, or 80% Python. So I think in the very, at least in JavaScript world, I see more and more frameworks that appear. So yeah, on your side, how things look like?
I do think that integrations is the one thing that it's very hard to replace right now with LLMs, right? You can like the context is king, right? And you cannot put all the context for LLMs. My thing right now is that you need a human input to figure out, oh, we need this tool maybe, and this tool, and that's where the integration happens. So I think like this I think you are in that space as well, like with this agentic workflow. So that I think it's something worth to study. I didn't think about the tooling for JavaScript, especially. Like, sure, there is a lot of a lot of people working in that language because it's easy to pick up. I think even LangChain, right? They have Python, and the JavaScript is almost like
exactly.
I recently I was thinking that, because you have this all those horror stories about vibe coders, so like running into some security issues and stuff like that. I was thinking that we need some tooling around the like application level, like setting the guide rails, like and I had my bold prediction about one project that is really set up to do really well in that space, which is Laravel.
Laravel.
Yeah.
Whoa, really? Okay, tell me more, please.
Like, look, like they have for one, they have amazing documentation, which you can feed to LLM. The second thing, they have all first-party packages, so you can roll Laravel project, which has built-in authentication, authorization, I know, flag management, like feature flag management, all first-party. Payment, all first-party. Like even if you want to like run React application, it's all first-party packages. So they control the whole ecosystem. That's two, right? Documentation and first-party packages.
I'm making notes actually to check out, because it's very interesting.
The third part, in February, was it February? I think so. They launched Laravel Cloud. So now you have one-click deployment for your apps, which is like it's pretty much Vercel for PHP.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and it comes with managed database service, right? Because Laravel, you need a server, you need a database. That's how Laravel operates, right? And it's all inside Laravel Cloud. So now you have all the ingredients. You can write your application with all first-party packages. You have documentation to write it, and you can deploy it. So you have those three ingredients, and obviously the security stuff is baked into the framework.
I see.
I mean,
Correct.
I think it's just like it's a matter of short time that we're gonna see like lovable, like there is this lovable thingy that you can type in what application you want, and it will spit out the application,
Okay.
like the whole thing. Like it's I think it's Vite, Vite, I think it's pronounced Vite server, and then some React, and you get the application. I think it's just a matter of time to get the same in Laravel. You just like type in, you get the app, and it's deployed already. It's you have all the ingredients to do it.
For sure, the scaffolding will be drastically. Doing scaffolding from scratch, that would be almost non-existent
And
in the near future.
And speaking of which, I totally forgot. I got the COO of Laravel, because I was tweeting about it, and COO of Laravel reached out to me like, hey, let's what do you have in mind? Let's talk. Where do you see this coming? Right, this going? Like, so they also thinking about it. Like he explicitly told me that him and Taylor Otwell, the creator of Laravel, they talking about it, where to take it in AI world. So I think it's coming, and I think they're gonna win big in that space.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Speaking of interesting facts, I've noticed something, and maybe I'm wrong, but at least from my experience on X, very many entrepreneurs are coming from Switzerland, especially from Zurich. And for me, this is somehow very unintuitive, because Zurich and Switzerland in general are one of the most expensive places to live in the world, and also the salaries are super high. So the cost of opportunity for starting your company from scratch, it's extremely. But still, I see very many indie hackers and also like traditional founders coming from Switzerland. In your time spent there, do you have an explanation for that? Have you also noticed the same thing? I'm just curious. Feel free to.
From indie hacking perspective, not so much. I know a couple, but it's like, I don't know, like you can count it on one hand. Okay. But there is some truth about startups growing in especially in Zurich. There is a lot of them. I'm not sure if it's a bigger hub than I don't know, something like Berlin, which is also has like shit ton of
Berlin
startups.
And Barcelona,
and Barcelona, exactly. But there is a lot, and the startup scene, I think the key thing is that it has good support, right? You have ETH here, and I think ETH ETH it's the college university in Zurich.
The main university,
they have some programs there to support startup, right? So you have a lot of ETH spin-offs, like a lot of them. I think even I worked at one in some years back. So you have the support. You have also money, right? There is, or at least there was a lot of money recently in Switzerland. So this money needs to go somewhere. So people are willing to invest, right? And I'm not sure how not being part of EU plays role into that, but I'm pretty sure it does play some role.
Good point. Yeah, totally agree.
Like even like with like return of investment, it's like I remember like I work in this like small company. We were doing Industry 4.0 things, and my boss eventually sold the company, and he had like there was like also like a couple other companies like inside. It was like, how you call it, like there was like a lot of small companies forming the big one. So when they sold, he was bragging to me that, I mean, not bragging, but like saying that he paid like 0% on the selling the shares or something.
Oh, wow.
And in Germany, his partner it was like 40 or something. Yeah, like it's crazy. So I'm sure that there is something about that plays role into money flowing here.
Great point. Yeah, the you thing now. Yeah. I get it.
but the solo part, it's tricky, as you said. You cannot rent I don't know, villa like in Bali for $300 and then live cheap. Yeah.
Indeed, I mean, almost all of the solo indie hacking entrepreneurs that I know, it's as a part-time endeavor.
Yep. Part-time is very much supported by the system, by the government. Like you can easily do something, and you can you can earn money and not register as a company. Like there is I think I live in Zug, which like 20 kilometers from Zurich. I think you can make up to 100,000 Swiss francs a year without registering.
And just declaring, okay, this is the side money, and that's it.
Oh, okay. So it's very easy to get started without all those formalities.
Okay. So pragmatic. I mean, I always arrive at the same conclusion about the Swiss society. Super pragmatic and well made. If you'd have the possibility to go back in time, would you change something in your career? Would you do something different?
I would be much bolder, much more like I would do everything that I did so far, but sooner. Like I think like there is I hate it about myself that I think I need to be prepared. Everything needs to be just lined up perfectly before trying. Like for example, like trying out for Fang. I think I wasted a couple years at least. You just try, you fail, and then adjust. And I think I waited way too long with not only with Fang, with most of the stuff.
Yeah, I see.
Overthinking, I think that's the
main great point. And at least for me, this is a very useful advice, because I think I suffer from the same. Maybe this is an engineering.
I'm sure it is. So my co-founder, he's a product guy. He's not like from engineering background. And the first version of the Notamify app, he did it with just GPT, Claude, whatever. He launched it. He started making making money out of it without any technical background, right? It's crazy. Like I think he did vibe coding before it was even called vibe coding.
Okay.
Crazy. Obviously, it's not perfect, right? It's if you're listening to me, I told you about it. It's a spaghetti code.
I see.
But it works, and that's I think that's the thing I'm kicking myself for not doing earlier. Like just you can do stuff which is not like 100% correct, but it does work, and you can just move on from that point on.
Okay, it's very interesting. Great point. You mentioned, speaking about your tweets, because I read many of them in preparation for this interview. You mentioned at one point that you're thinking about switching to AI engineering and so on. Did you draft a plan in your head? How would you do that if you would have to do it? Where did you start, or what did you do? What will be your first
step? I didn't draft the plan, and I think that's my learning from past. Like I just let's just do things and see how it goes, right? So the again, this infamous 5-hour stream of building ML, I think that was kind of like
the first step.
First thing that I started into that direction before actually announcing that I'm going to do it. Right now, I can tell you I'm doing the ML engineer course. It's like I just think I'm just lacking the knowledge of tooling, right? Because like there is a lot of tooling involved in that. So I'm doing that, and
what ML engineering course is from somewhere, or
from Google. There is I think it's either free or like you get like some credits at the beginning that are enough to go with this ML engineer. There's this ML engineer path from Google Cloud. Right?
I see. Okay.
And yeah, I'm using Google because like my co-founder is really good at getting the credits, so he get us tons of credits on Google Cloud and on OpenAI and all that stuff. That's also like funny. Like he it's really it's in tens of thousands of dollars worth of credits.
Okay, so
And
that level, not
yes,
okay.
and I'm so like, hey, how? Tell me, how did you get this money out of those big companies? And he says, like, listen, you need to be young, ambitious, and say that you want to change the world, and they just give it to you. You're all right, fair enough. Young, ambitious, and then say you want to change the world, and it works. Yeah, but the getting back to the path, I'm gonna use Notamify, and the idea is to build the best product we can do with learning along the way.
So basically, more or less, the foundations are the same. Have a project, have something to show off.
Yep, absolutely. You cannot learn just for the sake of learning. You need to do something at the end, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And we have big plans for like Notamify is the one thing, but we want to like we have this the registered company, and it's called Skymers, and we don't want to do the Notams only. Like Notams is like the one part of the whole thing. Like you need, so there are like a lot of streams of data, right? Notams is one thing, but we want to move it further, right? And the end goal is that we combine all those data streams into one solution for aviation. That you just
okay.
You go in, you want to fly somewhere, you go to Skymers, and it's like from here to here, and it will give you everything. It will like give you like, can you land? Where can you land? What can be your backup landing? What the conditions, and the weather, all that stuff.
Like a co-pilot for flying.
Yeah, that's the end goal is to create co-pilot for pilots.
Oh, super interesting. Nice.
But as my previous boss told me, like, you cannot eat elephant in one go. You need to cut it in pieces. So that's what we're doing right now.
Great stuff. Super interesting. A final question that I ask all of my guests. In your opinion, what is the best bet? What is the best path for someone to take in order to become a really valuable colleague, a really valuable professional who can add value to their team?
So I think there are like two ingredients. Like obviously you need to you need to be like good at your job, like technically you need to understand what's going on, and also in that area you need to be curious, right? You cannot be scared of like things that you don't know, and you just avoid. You need to be curious. You need to learn, and just do things. But I think now with the AI, this part is shrinking a bit, and the bigger part is actually the human factor, right? You need to be a good communicator. You need to like be able to convince your colleagues to ideas. You need to be able to convince your stakeholders, the people that are actually like deciding or like spending money, that your ideas are worthwhile. Because like making tech, making apps is getting easier and easier. Now it's about the
communication and
humans. Yeah.
Very, very interesting because especially like in I was educated and so on in Romania. In here, like the technical education is the king. And only recently, I think the first time I heard about this was in a talk of I think Jordan Peterson, if I remember correctly, that like the rich parents are always sending their kids to communication oriented universities. Like law or something around there, because if you are able to express yourself in a very literate way, and you will win so much, and many doors will be open to you, especially. And now I'm looking when I started to record this podcast, how hard it is to speak without and mumbling and stuff like that. And especially in a social media world, communicating better, I think it adds so much leverage, whatever you do.
It's a skill. It's a skill. It needs to be trained, right? But I much rather have something and humming and all that stuff, but be able be authentic it and be able to convey the ideas than this kind of political style communication. It's I think now more than ever the important part is to be yourself, to be authentic, to be personable. It's we humans at the end.
Yeah. Great point.
And I cannot agree more with what you said. It's with sending kids to communication oriented directions and building. I don't want to say networking. Almost sounds like a dirty word. But being able to
also network and also being able to express yourself, I think. Yeah. But exactly also networking, because I think I posted at one point this, because if you want to an unfair advantage versus AI, start to build your network, start to build human relations, and AI cannot do that. I will not speak with an AI if I can speak with you or someone else. Yeah,
absolutely.
Michal, was a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time. I will put in the links of the episode. I will put the link to Notamify, to your Watch Me Struggle with LLM with zero.
Please don't. Please don't. This one you can skip.
No. Look, what I really found about that very interesting was how you are using LLMs to learn, and all of the tool set and everything, your struggles, and I think it's a valuable piece of information. And do you want to add something else?
No. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure. It was really, really easy to talk to you. It's before recording, we said that we're going to do this conversational style, and I think it went great. And highly encourage everyone to listen to your podcast and then to join. Very valuable stuff.
Same here. Let's keep in touch, and most likely we will come again as a guest. So yeah.
Anytime.